Good morning and welcome to the Step by Step Listening page. Here, I'm Cheryl Andrews, I'm the founder, and I'm very lucky to have Georgia with me today. We're going to be talking about how to get your sparkle back. Those of you who don't know Georgia's my niece, and I've got the privilege, as it's summer holidays, she's spending time with me and she's bringing Georgia's world into my world. It's always magical, which is fabulous. And I was talking to Georgia this morning about what the video is going to be about, and she started telling me about how she gets her sparkle back. So I thought I'd bring her on and we'd ask her some questions. And I think it's a really good example that we often think that we need to teach children or other people how to solve problems. But when we listen and we ask questions, they know so much more than we realise, because she came up with some magical stuff. And I know that there's some stuff she hasn't even told me yet, that we're going to ask her some more questions and we're going to see what transpires from there.
Yeah.
But before I get on and start asking Georgia's questions, I just want to talk about sparkle. And the reason why the conversation is coming up today is quite often when I'm working with clients, adults and children alike, we lose our sparkle. We feel a bit grumpy. That's what we were talking about, weren't we, earlier?
Yeah.
I can feel a bit low. I know I had a couple of days a few days ago where I felt kind of like a bit low. And I talk about the signature system I talk about is clarity, confidence, and change. So first of all, clarity for what you want. So let's assume today that what you want is your sparkle back. Once you've got clarity of what your sparkle is like, we'll ask Georgia actually, and we'll ask me as well. So your sparkle, when you've got your sparkle, that's like what?
It's like I'm really positive, and that I just feel like I need to celebrate that I've got my sparkle back. Then the grumpiness has got out of me.
Fab. And you said something, because you're doing this with your hands. When we talked about it earlier, you said something about shining. So what happens then when you're sparkling? What happens to shining?
So that's when you like come out of your dark, gloomy days and you shine to the rest of the like place or wherever you're going. You shine wherever you go.
Fab. And then what happens when you shine like that?
Then you go in. For me, it's crazy mode.
Crazy mode.
Because I go all over the place and I just need to let all my energy out and be happy.
Fab. So I want you to think about your sparkle. I know for me, when I've got my sparkle, it's a bit like, it used to be like a big firework inside. I would talk really fast, get very, very excited. And a bit like you were saying, I think it's a bit similar, is that people would think I was crazy. I'd be talking super, super fast. They couldn't understand me, couldn't keep up with me. And so I would then temper it down. And I think what I've done over the years is forgot that energy is really amazing. And there's a balance, isn't there, of how much other people can cope with our energy when it's on full steam.
Yes.
Fabulous. So what then happens is you've got clarity of what you want your sparkle. It's also then working out what works, what kind of sparkle works, because whatever our strengths are, whether mine is talking, George's is acting and singing and dancing and just being perfectly perfect. Wherever your strengths are, it will be challenging for other people. So if we go around with loads of energy and we're crazy and somebody else is tired, it might be a bit too much. They might criticize us for it, and then we could start thinking that's not a good thing. But actually, it's just not a good thing right now with this person. It's not something we should stop doing all of the time, but it is something that's just not working in this moment. So we shouldn't give up our sparkle and our craziness, but we might need to be careful.
Yeah, we might need to self-regulate in other things and take our sparkle to another place and then make it appropriate.
Yeah, I like this. Look, 10 years old, self-regulate, take it away and bring it back and be appropriate. So that's fantastic. Where the confidence process is all about understanding that process. So we're going to find out a bit more how Georgia self-regulates and takes her sparkle somewhere else and brings it back, because it's something that she brings into my world all the time and I love it. Yes. So we look at the confidence process. That's about you understanding your process. So I think that if we sparkled all the time, it's exhausting, isn't it?
Yeah.
We get really, really tired. So we all have to have downtime. We have to have away time. We have to have quiet time. And it's knowing that those away times are part of the process. I see people suffering with sadness, depression, etc., and they think it's something wrong. There's nothing. It's usually part of the process. You just need some quiet time, introverted time, take care of yourself. The thing that's when it's a problem is when you get stuck there. So if you get stuck in sparkle, so you're overdrive, you've got loads of energy, get burnt out. If you get stuck in your low point and you're retreating, you might get depressed. And so the understanding your process, that's where the confidence comes in, means that you can keep yourself moving through that process.
Yes.
And I like that, self-regulate.
Yeah.
You can work out what works for you. So The last bit is sometimes we need to change. Maybe it's because we are burning ourselves out, or we're a bit sad, or how we're behaving isn't working for the people that we're with.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So tell me, Georgia, and anybody that's on live call, we've got a big favour to ask of you. We want this to be the most popular video ever. So if you've liked it, we would like you to share it. It gives us lots of hearts. Those we've got one person viewing, Georgia, up there. They haven't said hello yet, so we don't know who they are. They might put a comment in a minute and we can find out who's there with us.
Yeah.
Let us know what you like about what we're saying. If you've got any questions for Georgia, please ask her. And Georgia's going to ask me some questions, hopefully, in a minute, and then we'll wrap up. So, Georgia, tell me, what is happening just before you have sparkle?
I go into a bad mood.
A bad mood? What kind of bad mood?
Like angry, moody, and really not kind, and really not like a person to be with when I'm not that.
So what happens between angry and grumpy and not kind and sparkle?
So when I'm ever angry and I'm too angry, I like to go either into my room or into the front room away from my mum and dad, just in case, and I calm myself down, and then I go outside with a positive attitude and show them a positive me.
And so when you go into that room and you calm yourself down, that's calm yourself down like what?
Self-regulate.
That's self-regulate.
Self-regulate, because you can just take yourself away from other people, calm yourself down, and then go out with a different you.
So when you self-regulate, this might be a bit of a weird question, so I'm just going to ask you, just trust yourself if you see what answer comes up. When you self-regulate, whereabouts is self-regulate?
I would say it's about ish. I mean,
can you notice what Georgia's doing with her hands? It's about ish. So when it's self-regulate, is there anything else about that when self-regulate is there like that?
It means that like self-regulate is something really important that you can do now and again whenever you're mad, whenever you're upset, or whenever you feel like you just need to self-regulate. That's what you do, because that's the most best thing to do when you do it. Yeah.
And when you self-regulate and it's there like that, then what happens?
Then, after doing that self-regulate, the sparkle comes back, and then you let your sparkle run free with you, and that is the best medicine, personally, for me, because I say laughter is the best medicine. And is my sparkle as well.
Yeah. And the other thing you put on the when we went to London last Monday, you put love is the best medicine, isn't it?
It is. If you're really upset, you just need a cuddle, or you need to talk to your parents or somebody that lives near you that you trust.
Fabulous. So laughter and love is the best medicine. And if you need to talk to someone, have a cuddle and talk to somebody.
Yeah. And
when you got sparkle and then you shine.
Yeah.
And what happens between sparkle and crazy?
I want to just run around and do all this stuff and dance, but in an appropriate place. So that's where I self-regulate there, because I know it's an appropriate place, and that's where that's where.
So what determines appropriate place? Where is it appropriate to sing and dance and shine your sparkle?
It would be either in my garden, at the beach, park, and yeah.
So where is it not appropriate then?
Pubs, hospitals.
Which sadly Georgia's dad is actually in the hospital today, which is why Georgia's helping me with my business today, and we're having a little bit of girly time, aren't we? Because it's not appropriate to put your sparkle necessarily around there when people are a bit worried and concerned about stuff. Now, I don't know whether this is the right question to ask you or not. Chris Wallace is joining us. Thank you, Chris. Lovely to have you here. Can you see he's got here?
Yeah. Hi.
What happens just before you get angry and you're not very kind?
Just before that happens, my my body starts to tingle a little bit, and then it starts to bring the anger up, and then it's like a volcano that's interrupting in me, and then I just go
So it's like a volcano interrupting. And what happens just before the volcano is inside you like that, interrupting?
Sparkle. It's when I'm dancing around, but then I've got annoyed by my brother, or I've just been annoyed by someone when I'm either at school or something.
So you've got your sparkle, and then you're annoyed, and then there's a volcano.
Yes.
What kind of annoyed?
Like angry. I feel like betrayed over something maybe, and sometimes I feel just really betrayed and angry, and I'm furious, and I need to calm down.
And what kind of thing is betrayed?
Like when somebody does something to you that's really hurtful when you thought you trusted them. It's that's what betrayed means to me. I don't know what it means to everyone there, but it does to me.
Fabulous. So Chris, if you've got any comments, that would be great. I can tell you now, even though Georgia was just 10 years old, I have been working with adults, 300 or so, over the last 10 years. And this model is pretty typical. The reason why I wrote the book, Manage Your Critic, is because people do things that we don't expect them to do. And they might actually be having their sparkle in their way, and it might annoy us, mightn't it?
Yeah, might.
Because maybe they start dancing and singing, and they're not watching us dance and sing.
Yeah, so like it's all about them.
It's all about them. And it might be that they say the wrong word at the wrong time, and it annoys us. And so we have, in Georgia's case, a volcano that interrupts.
Yeah.
In my case, what happens to mine?
Well, what happened to yours? That's questions.
So have you got some questions for me? So what would you like to know about my sparkle, if anything?
What do you do when you're angry?
I usually slam the door. I have to confess. I haven't done that for a long time, but when I used to get really angry quite a lot, my first thing was I'd storm out the door and I'd slam it because I just want to shut everything and everyone away. So it's a bit like you, but I'm probably not doing it as quietly. So I definitely need to be away from everybody else. So I've realised that for me it's about not being able to see anybody else, not being able to hear anybody else, not being able to feel anybody else, so that I can just be with myself.
Okay, I've got another question. What made you angry most of the time? What makes you like not have sparkle anymore?
I think probably the hardest bit for me is when I think I've done something really, really kind, and I think I'm being really helpful, and then the other person didn't like it, and it's really upset them or hurt them.
Yeah.
But my intention was to be really, really helpful,
yeah.
and my behaviour was not liked. And then I don't like it because I'm not liked, and I think I'm doing the best I can, and it's just not good enough. And then I get really fed up because I'm like, I feel like I'm working and putting loads of effort and energy into stuff, and then it's not appreciated by people. So that's a typical thing that gets me angry. I've just realised there's another angry though. There's an angry when I'm angry for somebody else, and then I don't tend to run off anywhere because I feel I've got to say something. Sometimes I don't not always brave enough to say something, but if I think somebody else is being hurt or not being listened to, that's
when
angry.
You step in.
Yeah, sometimes it depends what the situation is, whether I think that it's a safe space for me to do it. Yeah, sorry, just going to show her Disney's sparkle top. She's just got her sparkle on today. So that's a little bit about sparkle. And what I'm hoping you might have noticed is that I think that people think that clarity is that it's you start here, you finish here. But the reality is that clarity is a cycle. So you'll stop and think about what you want to have happen, how you need to be, what kind of resource or support you might need. You might reflect on what's worked in the past, what hasn't worked, what needs to work better. And you just keep going through the cycle because life will throw stuff at us, won't they?
Yeah.
You know, it won't always be perfect, we won't always be happy. But actually, if we stay in that bit of it's not working or I haven't got the sparkle, and we just focus on the anger,
that will not help us protect a better life than we were expecting. Then I had a person came in and they said about mood movers and 2%ers. The ones that sparkles are 2%ers. They never give up in school or learning. Mood movers just stay grumpy, lazy, and not very positive. And if you are a 2%er, you're going to have a really good look out in life. If you're a mood mover, you're going to have quite a bad look out online.
So that's something that you got from one of your motivational speakers that came to your school, isn't it, Georgia?
Yes.
And what we just said earlier about being, it's not angry, but I forget protected might be a word, is I want us to be aware that when we label other people, you need to come this side, we're getting out of the screen here.
Yeah.
When you label other people like a mood hoover, I just want you to be aware that when we get those angry bits, sometimes we need to go away and just think about it, and other times we need to be able to tell that story. We want somebody else to know that the injustice, the betrayal, it's not fair.
Yeah.
And so don't label everybody that tells you a negative story or a sad story as mood hoovers. And if you find you've got a friend or a relative who is constantly telling the same sad story, the same negative story, then be aware that they probably don't yet feel really heard. And if you can help them have that story heard, and by the way you ask questions, you can help them change their focus, you can change how they interpret that story, how they hear the story, you can help them shift from sad to sparkle by not judging them.
Yeah, because with the 2%, with a smile, it spreads all over, and that's what our speaker wanted. He wanted our school to be a happy school, but it can all have all over the world, and I don't want people to be mood hoovers. So
fabulous. And so I'm balancing that out, and what I'm saying to is that we want the world to smile, but we're human and we might get sad sometimes, and it's okay to be sad.
It's not a mistake. You can't always be happy. Sometimes you can be sad because of things that have hurt you really badly.
Yeah. But if you don't have somewhere to let that go, then you might have a volcano, might you, that might erupt.
Yeah.
So if we can let our sadness out and our happiness out in a safe space, we can all sparkle far more of the time. Yeah. Have more joy and happiness. Yes. We hope that you found today's video really useful. I want to thank Georgia for joining me today. What we really want from you is to know when your sparkle is just the way you'd like it to be. It's like what? Put your comments below. What's your triggers for losing the sparkle? Have you noticed from this video what your process is? Tell us whatever you're learning from the video.
And have you learned anything from the video as well?
Fabulous.
And anyway,
if you've loved it, we'd like you to share it, because I want everyone to know what a sparkle she is, an amazing star. And I want everyone to remember as well that children know far more than we give them credit for, and actually you as adults, you know more than you think. I often ask people questions and I don't know, and I would just say to you, trust yourself, listen to yourself more carefully,
listen to your brain, listen to your body, and make it, and just understand that you can do it. Don't give up straight away. So
lots of love. Have a fantastic week.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.